represent that department. So it is a conflict of interest from this office.
Okay, I understand that.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand that, but what I also understand is that when these guys do take the oaths, like Barbara Lawal or the TPD chiefs and everybody, Ramon Valadez, because I have their oaths of office in my filing cabinet, they take an oath to abide by, protect, and defend the constitutions. Within the constitutions, it'll say the purpose of government is to protect and maintain individual right. So if they're claiming a conflict of interest because they don't want to arrest their buddies in another office down the street or something, the real conflict of interest is they don't want to honor their oath and they're trying to find a free way out.
Well, that's
my
not the
opinion.
case. Here we represent the city departments.
But when the city guys go drunk driving or something, who prosecutes them then?
Who prosecutes them?
Yeah.
The county.
Oh, and so if it happens in the city, you guys hand it back to the county?
We don't represent them. We do not represent individuals for civil infractions.
Okay, that's where we're talking right there. I'm talking criminal. Tampering with the public records, criminal. ARS statute. Obstructing a criminal
I understand what you're saying, but
so I don't care about the
even
civil.
in that instance, we would represent the department against a complaint of any type, way, shape, or form.
Even if there was overwhelming evidence and there's no way he could win in court.
That is our job to represent the department, no matter what. Right, wrong, good, bad, evil, not evil.
That's what we're talking about here.
And I understand what you're saying, but regardless of the circumstances, it is our job as the city attorney's office civil division to represent the departments. That is what we do.
Okay, I kind of thought you represented the people too when they had charges.
Unfortunately, we don't, and I'm sorry. I don't want to, like I say, give you the runaround in any way, shape, or form. I know just from what you said that you've had that, but that's not what we do here. Our job is to provide representation for the departments.
Well, do you like to find out about problems so that they don't continually happen?
That doesn't normally come through us. We find out about it through complaints, and I mean, my recommendation, and I'm a bit confused as to why the mayor's office sent you down here.
Well, because I'm a ping pong ball.
Well, and I'm so sorry for that.
That's okay. I'll be calling them back. That's no problem. I told them I'd call them back if I got to run around in any way.
And I feel bad about it, but I think that if you wanted to file a complaint of some sort, you should contact the clerk's office, and they can tell you how to file a complaint. Not a in-court complaint.
Well, you see, I've done it against the sheriffs through TPD. They wrote a report. Now they're scared to death to touch it because it's their good old boy network buddies. And I'm the victim named in the TPD report. They cannot legally drop the ball. I don't care what anybody says. They're obstructing. They've tampered with the report. I have all the audio to prove it. I can go on and on and on and on. I got 2 years worth of undercover investigative journalism audio. This isn't going to go away. In fact, it's going to be on a radio show tomorrow. I don't know what else to do, but I have to expose what I think is wrong, and this is part of it. There should be, everybody in their office should say, oh, that's a problem here, go there. Or somebody should say, hold on, sir, I'm going to call Special Agent Rick Valencia, and I'm going to call the TPD, and we're going to find out who has jurisdiction and who really doesn't want it. But nobody wants to connect the dots.
Well, see, and again, as I say, it's not that I'm in any way, shape, or form trying to give you the runaround, but if this does come to a complaint, then our office would represent and defend TPD against whatever complaint or claim that you file. That's why we can't talk to you.
Well, sure you can. I'll give you all the exculpable evidence that proves my innocence, and you won't be able to represent those guys, and you'll have no choice.
No, sir. No, sir. That's not the case. That our job is to represent those guys.
Well, whose job is it to charge criminals under Arizona revised statutes for Title 13 criminal crimes within the city limits?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
That I don't have the answer to.
Well, it is in fact the Tucson police. And if it was in the county, it would be the sheriff's. And if it was on the highway, it might be the highway patrol. And if it's above the ionosphere, it might be NASA. But in the alternative, the Attorney General's made it very clear to me that where it happens is who has jurisdiction. So I don't know who else to call but the mayor back and ask for an appointment.
And if you've, I don't know what options you've chosen other than IA over at TPD.
Well, I made a complaint against the sheriffs through the TPD because they're departments in the city limits where they initially tampered with public records. Then I made a complaint in Internal Affairs TPD because through the police auditor because the officer's report is way tampered with. I had him on the phone when he took my complaint. He didn't name anything articulated legally. I can tell that the city cops is on the sheriff's side very clearly, and he obstructed it. That's like a class 5 felony. He's not going to be able to be a cop if I get him charged with this, when I get him charged with this. It's just ridiculous, and because I keep running into block walls, that just makes me push harder.
And I do understand your frustration.
I think you might, but I think
I've
you
been
probably...
where you are in
Really?
different situations, not here, but in different situations where I've gotten the runaround and, felt like I was getting a knot on my head the size of, Venus from banging my head against the wall. But in this case, because we represent the city departments, we can't talk to you. We can't represent you because our job is to represent the city department.
I knew you'd tell me all this, but I was just doing what the mayor's office told me to.
And I'm very confused as to why they told you that.
Well, if you watch my videos, you'll be confused or watching why everybody tells me what to do.
And again, I apologize. Like I say, I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to give you the runaround.
I hear you, but like I said, if there was an actual policy set for when something like this happens and people would call and find out exactly what to do, I really wouldn't be ran around.
I think that the city clerk's office might be your best bet.
Well, that's where I can pull everybody's oath again, probably. So, yeah, it's really interesting. These guys taking oaths, and they don't even know what they're taking oath to. I asked the sheriff a while back, what's your purpose per the Arizona Constitution? He said something about paying taxes. Well, it goes like this. Political power is inherent to people, and the governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed and are established to protect and maintain individual rights. Period. That's government's purpose per the Arizona Constitution. It's not very hard to trip up someone in a perjured oath of office for claiming conflict of interest.
Yeah.
The conflict of interest, you take the oath, you don't want to abide by it, get out of the office, clear the path for someone who will do the people right. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's very clear to me in this day and time.
Mr. Ray,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to extend my apologies that I could not help you.
Well, you're still going to have that legal guy call me, right? So
I don't know that he can talk to you. He's the city attorney.
Well, I got legal advice from the mayor to call him.
Well, that wasn't legal advice.
Well, I sometimes I make sure to ask people if it's legal advice, and
Well,
then they go ahead and give me the advice anyway. And if I ask them if it's personal advice, they won't admit that either.
That's not.
So if they're on the job representing a government office, it's not
Telling
really
the
personal
mayor's
advice.
office to call the city attorney's office is not legal advice. I'm sorry. It's not.
Well, it translates to a stumbling block and another block wall that I ran into.
And again, I apologize.
Well, it's not your
I
fault.
couldn't help you.
It's not your fault.
Oh, I know. I feel bad because you are getting the runaround. I'm not giving you the runaround, but I can understand your frustration because it does sound like you have gotten it.
Oh. Yes. Let me count the ways.
All
right. Well, I don't mean to take up any more of your time.
That's okay.
You've been soothing to my ears, actually, as compared to talking to some other folks in offices.
Well,
and
I try and be helpful, and I am understanding of your situation. Really, I am. And I truly do feel bad that I cannot help you and that we cannot help you in this office because of what we do.
I'm still going to follow up. The county attorney can't help me. The city attorney can't help me, I guess now. The sheriffs can't. The TPD can't. The attorney general can't. The Department of Justice hasn't called back. So
try the clerk's office.
Yeah, I'll see if they have any upper hands. Okay, thanks again for your time. You go ahead and have a good evening and have a better tomorrow.
You too, sir. I'm sorry.
Peace and respect. Good evening.
Thank you.